back again.
Yeah.
You missed us. I mean, yeah, what else were you doing with your week other than
Why
listening
wouldn't
to
you?
us here on Throwing Thoughts? But we're back. No guests this time, so we're just gonna kind of run through a little bit of life and some things that are happening in the disc golf world. So Nick, start us off. How's life been? What you been working on?
It's been good.
Practice.
Same old, same old. I'm doing more form work. And Nick says, my coach, that my form is looking better than ever. So we're basically just working on speed now.
Okay.
So I'm just getting reps in every day.
Okay.
My
What's your
form
top
basically
speed?
looks. I hit 69 yesterday, and then
Nice.
last week I actually 71.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Were you mad?
No, I was actually pretty hyped, dude. I was in my garage like, let's go. Oh, let's go. I was screaming because I hit 71.
That's sick.
I was so hyped because I've been chasing that number.
Yeah.
I
Are
was so
you
hyped.
tech disc?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you
Yeah.
like it?
It's good. It's good for, I guess, knowing speed, obviously, and then your spin compared to other pros.
Yeah.
Your nose angle and launch angle are also pretty nice. So you can tell if you're throwing nose down or not. But for
Okay.
me, like, I already know that. So it's basically, I only use it kind of for speed.
Okay.
But
What's
I mean,
your
to spend,
RPMs?
it's like 1300, 1350,
Okay.
which is pretty good.
Yeah. I was gonna say the ABs is like 1500, right?
Yeah. And Gannon's is like 1700.
It's ridiculous, dude. How
And
is that
then,
even possible?
well, you play disc golf since you're 5. Because I mean, spin doesn't really affect, like, the more spin you have, it doesn't mean you throw farther. Like, speed
that's
is
fair.
king. It's more
Right.
just like, it actually makes this more stable because there's less wobble
Okay.
and more rope resistant.
Okay. Okay.
So like someone like Yuli has really high spin, but he's got
Yep.
low speed, which is actually pretty unique.
Yeah. Yeah. He throws a lot of S line stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense because Paul doesn't have high spin, right? Paul Macbeth, and that's
I'm
why
not
all
sure.
his discs just fly straight. I mean, he just plays like golf shots, just
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like someone like Jeremy Coling, his forehand spin's like 1300, which
It's
is
insane.
unreal. Mine is like 750.
I was gonna say, I bet you I'm in the 600s.
He
that's
has
crazy.
he has no wobble, and that's just from playing so long. I mean, he's thrown probably more forehands than anyone on the planet, dude.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But that's all he does,
Yeah.
and it's his job. And
Right.
he apparently, when he started really getting into disc golf, he played like 6 rounds a day. You know, I've heard that a lot.
Oh my
Actually.
gosh. That's
Yeah,
a
like,
way to blow out your arm.
now when you have that much spin,
that
dude,
sounds like
he's just
pain.
around Charlotte, just forehanding all of his
That's fair.
mid ranges. But
That's fair.
yeah, I've heard a couple top pros, like, yeah, Germ is one of them. Ken, that they're playing like 6-7 rounds a day. I'm like, what? I guess if that's all you
Good for
do.
them. Good for them.
Yeah,
But
doesn't mean it's a recipe to get like the best you can, because Jeremy
Yeah.
Coling isn't on top anymore. But not gonna say, you know, if he
So-
did just win.
that is true. So then,
Yeah.
like, for you, how much are you playing? How much are you throwing? I mean, obviously, you're not throwing 24 hours a day, but
Yeah, we got about 2 feet of snow, so I haven't
Okay.
played a hole in a month. I haven't played at all, so
okay.
I'm only focusing on form, and I've been putting a lot as well. I'm actually experimenting with something called let me check, greasing the groove.
Okay.
It's where it's a strength training principle where you actually get high adaptations when you do something like every 2 hours with small reps. So that'd be like, so I want to experiment with putting like 10 putts like every 2 hours,
Okay.
because it's like only the first putt matters. So it's basically reinforcing that first putt every 2 hours of the day, which every time you putt and then you rest, then you putt, then you rest, then you putt every day, your nervous system is going to adapt every single time.
Right.
And that means you can adapt that like stimulus like 5 times a day
yeah.
if you putt every 2 hours instead of just once when you do your one putting session. So
Right.
I'm gonna experiment with that and see if I can get better that way as well.
I like that because then your body's not like adjusting to your misses. Rather, it's forcing you to make it on the first try and the first attempt.
Yeah, You're
Yeah,
just
that's
trying
huge.
to make your body remember that first putt, like remember how to do it right off the bat, which is when it's
Right.
important.
Right.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool. I'm actually really excited to do
Yeah.
that.
One of our buddies, his name's Zach Sherman out of Grand Rapids. He's a phenomenal putter. Got to be one of the top putters in the state. I mean, it's
He's
unbelievable.
he's kind of nuts with the
It's
putt.
crazy. It's crazy. I would put him against a lot of people in the world. It's unbelievable how good of a putter he is.
He's very good.
But he also works at a store. He works at Disc Baron, and in Disc Baron they have a basket. And he says he putts like 2 putts every 20 minutes. He just stands up,
Yeah.
makes 2 putts from 30 feet. And I mean that's got to contribute, right? Because
That
it's
is
yeah,
a
that's
prime
the-
example of greasing the groove right there.
Yeah.
Like unknowingly, just priming the nervous system
Yeah.
for that first putt.
Yep.
And that's probably why one of the few reasons why he's really good at putting. Not does he only throw more putts than everyone else, but he also does it more frequently.
Right. And it's not, I'm throwing 200 putts at the same time. Where I think Brody Smith came out with a video, I don't know, 2-3 years ago now, where he was like, you have to putt constantly. You have to throw 200 putts at a time because you're just training muscle memory. And I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but
Yeah, I had the same principle, but I'm starting to lean away from that, honestly.
mhm.
Because
Yeah,
like
you'll have to let me know how that goes.
I will let you know how it goes, because I think since you've got the basket inside, that wooden one,
Mhm.
what's it called?
Yeah.
Death trap?
The Death Trap disc golf basket.
Yeah.
Inside. Yeah.
Like every time you go in the kitchen, dude, 2 putts.
2 putts. Yep. I like that.
Keep putters on the
Speaking of which,
counter.
Might be doing a giveaway soon for
Ooh.
one of those baskets, which
Dude.
$200 or it's like 189 MSRP.
Yeah.
So be on a watch on my Instagram channel.
But you
So,
pay for convenience.
Yeah,
Or get
it
one for
is.
free on
I'm
Frank's
telling
giveaway.
you, I have said so many times like there is no basket that works for me except this one, and so it's perfect. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really perfect. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Dude. Go ahead.
I think that's been it. I mean, that's just gym training. I'm also
Yeah.
experimenting with greasing the groove in the gym as well.
Okay.
So just a bunch of different stuff. I'm trying to find a training program that's going to work for me. So I keep my CNS fatigue, my central nervous system fatigue low, so
Okay.
I can perform at disc golf on a high level, because I want to train at a high level and I want to train still. So I have to keep my fatigue really low. So I'm actually going to train less and take more rest with my training,
Okay.
because all of last year I couldn't train because I trained too hard, because it affected my disc golf game. Like every
Okay.
time I go to
Yeah,
the gym and
no, I
work
get
out,
that.
my game would be worse.
Right, because
So I'm gonna try to balance those two. Yeah.
Elevating the level your body can get to both be worked out and like exhausted, but not in pain and like demoted, if you will, the next day.
Yeah, even if I'm not sore, it's still affected me, because disc golf is such a muscle memory, and
Mhm.
there's such fine motor movements, especially with putting,
Yeah.
where like if your muscles aren't completely recovered, they're not going to work like they usually do.
Right.
And
makes sense.
that affects me a lot. So I'm going to try to find a balance of how to keep my strength and build my strength during the season. So right now I'm just kind of troubleshooting exercises and rest periods and what exercises I want to
Cool.
do, and
Cool.
stretching regimens and stuff like that. All that cool stuff,
Yeah.
the physical side of things that I really,
Yeah.
really like.
Because you're about a month and a week away from your first tourney, right?
Yeah, we're both playing Oh My Gosh Mo,
Yeah. The bad.
and I'm actually headed to Charlotte in a week to
really.
start playing disc golf and to get ready for the season, to get
That's
an early
exciting.
start.
Are
Yeah.
you going with Lindsay?
Oh yeah.
That's
We're
sick.
going. We're thinking about these places to go, maybe like Tennessee,
Mhm.
maybe like a scenic place. We're like, babe, we're disc golfers. What are we thinking? Let's just go to
Charlotte.
Charlotte again.
Charlotte. That's sick.
So
Those courses are so cool. So
yeah, we're
So-
trying to get an early start of the season and really, really get ready. So
100%.
yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Sick.
What have you been up to, Mr. Frank
Dude,
from State Farm?
today, Frank from State Farm, right after work, I went out and I played my first full round, no cameras, one shot of the year. So like typically when
Nice.
I go out, I've got a camera with me. I'm like I'm throwing quite a few shots on each hole. But then summer, I obviously have a lot more time to film because of the light, and so I'm focusing more on filming like 2 days a week and then practicing 3 days a week. In the winter, I don't do that. It's just film. So today, I finally got the chance, being light enough out, to get out and play a solo round. And I shot pretty okay. I mean, it was -6 out at Robert Morris Park, which is, I think, like a 10:05 rated round if it
Yeah,
was in
in the
tournament.
winter.
So
In the
yeah,
winter though, that's pretty good.
yeah, pretty solid. I play really, really quickly at the beginning of the year, where I'm like speed walking everything, both to get stamina up and to just kind of prep my body for the like intensity of being on a course. People don't really like think about the wear and tear of a disc golf tournament.
Just
where
walking.
you're walking like it. There is an aspect of being physically like in shape that you have to play around. I know I've gotten to ends around and I'm tired, and that's not a good place to be. Like if you're tired,
Yeah.
it's, I mean, same thing like what you were saying with working out. If your body is tired, it's not good. You will not be able to perform anywhere near where you want to be. So
Yeah, I mean, if you have like an Apple Watch or something like that, and you have
Mhm.
take your step counter, you get like 25,000 steps in a tournament.
yeah,
It's like
it's
8 to 10
quite a few
miles,
miles. Yeah,
and
yep.
I call it tournament shape. Like
It's a thing. It's a thing.
it is. When you start getting back into it, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of walking.
Yep,
Wow,
it's
I'm tired
exhausting.
after my round.
Not to mention a
So
30-pound bag on your back or whatever it is.
yeah. What do
So
you how do you record? Do you have like a tripod?
I got a
Do you record on
tripod.
your
I
bag?
got a big like 7-foot tripod, and then I actually use, I don't have it in here, but a DJI Osmo. So it's a little gimbal. Any film nerds know what a gimbal is. It's a self stabilizer. It automatically, like, you can wiggle the thing around and it'll keep the phone like
That's
on
cool.
target. So
Yeah.
it's really handy because you can put it on a slope. The tripod can be off kilter, and it's still locking on where I am.
Yeah.
Super handy. I film with an iPhone 14 with the three
Yeah.
cameras, because then I film on 3 times, which is a better camera, high quality camera. It's just, yeah, it's pretty simple stuff, but yeah, dude, it's been really good. I've been working on my putt as well, working on something a little different than you, something similar to what Matt Bell does when he putts, which is focusing solely on the pop of the disc and ignoring everything else. In years past, for the last like 10 years of playing disc golf, I've really focused heavily on the result of the putt, and like if I miss the putt, obviously then I'm doing something wrong. And I realized by doing that, I'm going to try so heavily to adjust my game based around like a putt that I'm bringing in too many factors or too many pieces,
Variables almost.
variables, yes, that it's going to make the putt so much more difficult. So like in the past, I'd be swinging a putt and I'd miss left, so I'd swing my arm further right and then miss right. And so I was a bowler for a little bit, which is super nerdy and the best thing ever. But
No, you
one of the
do things more nerdy than that.
Oh,
Right?
that is true. That is true. But bowlers don't look at the pins. They look at the dots and arrows on
Yeah.
the lane. Pick one of those and release. Same release every time. Same release every time. If I hit that dot that I am expecting, and I can let the ball do the rest of the work to get to where it needs to be on the pins. So
Yeah.
same thing in disc golf. When you're putting, rather than focusing on, I'm going to hit that chain link, missing right, so now I'm pushing it further left, and it's just this back and forth game. You're saying, you know what, I'm going to do the same swing every single time. I'm going to do the same arm motion. I'm going to do the same weight transfer, and I'm going to focus right here, just on this pop. If I'm aiming, like, let's say I'm aiming 30 feet out, maybe my release is higher. Whereas if I'm 20 feet out, it's shorter. If I need to get it to move left more, then it's more on an angle. And so I'm all focusing on this wrist pop motion, and that allows me to reduce the hole size to just 3 feet. If I can get this 3-foot swing of my arm right where I want it, then ultimately the result doesn't matter, because you know what you can do if you miss a putt. Let's say at 30 feet, right? center cage. Well, then instead of releasing here, you release here. And it's just that
Yeah.
little bit of a difference. You add a little more velocity, and you're focusing solely on that putt and that pop, that release timing. Because you
Yeah.
like, if you're trying to adjust your form based on the result, you're going to be so fearful of committing to putts because you missed the last one and you don't know what your putt's going to look like. So if you can focus on that pop, ultimately the result doesn't matter and it becomes adjustable. You know, Scott Stokely, great teacher. One of the things he talks about is if you don't fully commit to your putt, you can't change anything about it because you don't know what your actual putt looks like. And so come tournament time, when I'm
Interesting.
putting, I can actually commit to a putt because all I'm doing is committing to this pop. And let's say I miss left, well, I just pop a little more right. And I'm just reducing it to that 3-foot swing of my arm. And if I can do that the same every time, you know, we're going to be a better putter. So,
Yeah, I think I watched the same video as you. It's Yuli had Matt Bell on to give a
Mhm.
couple putting tips
yep.
and a couple things. Matt Bell said he practiced from only like 12, 24, and like 28 feet or something like that at
Mhm.
different speeds, which was very good insight. And he also talked about the pressure points. Yuli talks about that a lot. You can put, you got to focus on your pressure points, like where you have the most pressure on the putter.
Mhm.
And you focus on, like you said, Matt Bell talks about like a 3-inch area of where you're releasing the disc, no matter what.
Right.
And he only focused on the pressure points and then the release area to make it super consistent. And I've also been focusing on that because before I focused on my reach back, I really focused on how it
Yep.
looked,
Yep.
about how my putter
Yep.
looked, and not really how it felt or how to create something that was super repeatable.
Right. Right.
And that's really what I've been working on as well, is getting that release point the same and getting
Mhm.
your weight shift matched with that release point, even in straddles, even in step putts, even in normal putts.
Yeah. Just
That
pop.
release point should be the same. Yeah. And
Yep,
it should
100%
be,
agree.
probably should be in hyzer too,
Yeah.
because that's how your wrist is
right
attached to
naturally.
your arm anyways. Yeah.
Right.
That's how everything works.
Yep. But
And then
that.
another huge thing about putting is routine.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about changing your putt or adjusting your putt every hole, I think it's better to think about it like first hole of the tournament, 20 feet, you miss it right, okay,
Mhm.
nerves, whatever.
Mhm.
On the next hole, you don't aim left, you
Nope.
stick to your routine,
Right. It'll go in.
and then if you miss
eventually.
right again, and then hole 3, stick your routine, and you miss right again, then you adjust. You don't
Right.
adjust immediately after the putt. You got to get some evidence
Mhm.
before you can adjust during that round, because adjustments are
Yep.
very important for keeping your rounds consistent. Is you have to adjust
Yep.
during your round with your putt, with the throw, whatever, and you need to not adjust as fast. You need to adjust almost every 3 holes instead of every hole,
Yeah.
because your body can also do something different.
Right.
It's
100%
very
agree.
very important. You don't want to be adjusting after every putt, because then you could be all over the place. You got to stick to your
Right.
routine
Right.
and know that you've been practicing your routine, and know you can make whatever putt,
Definitely.
and adjust if
Definitely.
you need to,
Definitely.
and have some adjustments that you stick to, like an early release, later release, maybe pull to the left a little more, just some stuff you can experiment with in tournaments.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been practicing on. That's what I've been working on. So, disc golf news of the week. Aaron Gossage taking down the New Zealand Championship. He won a boot trophy, which was a little interesting. I'm
Dude,
like,
another
gotta
garage trophy.
Yeah, we
What is
gotta step up these
a
trophies,
boot?
man.
A boot.
Speaking of trophies, the only tournament I've ever run, C-tier double. It wasn't even C-tier, it was a doubles event. Our trophies were glass mugs, and I'm just curious, what do you think? Solid
Right.
trophy? Solid trophy?
You recognize this?
Dude, I have like 12 of those, and I'm not joking. I have like 12 of those. Yes, I have like 12 of those. That's the Michigan Classic, bro.
No,
But,
this is
yeah.
the Lumberjack Open,
Yeah, no,
but it's
yeah.
the same guy, Larry.
Yep, Larry LeBon. He's the GOAT, by the way.
For listeners, I just pulled up a saw blade basket that Frank and
Yeah.
I both won at Ashtamo Park.
Yep.
It's
Yeah. But no,
yeah.
these glass
Also
mugs,
came out of
dude,
a garage.
I feel like this is pretty solid. These are pretty solid. I use mine every day. It's my
That
water
is pretty
glass.
cool.
But-
I don't have my favorite trophy in here. I got the Ledgestone Cup.
Okay, for AMs,
Yeah. And I actually have this obelisk.
that's sick.
It's because I
That is
won
sick.
2022 points leader in AM1.
Nice.
Most points in AM in a single
Nice.
year. Look at this
That's sick.
huge thing.
That's
This thing
sick.
is the nicest trophy I definitely have.
Yeah,
Next
that's
to
dope.
the Ledgestone Cup.
But Aaron Gossage taking down the win. Dude looks good. He won by 8. He was
Yeah.
leading, I want to say he was leading by 8 going into the final round.
Yeah.
And he just played conservative. Like he was, if it was long range putts, he wasn't running it. And he missed like a 20-foot or two, a couple of them in that.
Dude,
round.
the polarity he's had while he's down there. I mean, he got like
Mhm.
10th place the first event
Mhm.
and then a little better, but his putting was in shambles. But that might have just
Yep.
because the wind was ripping.
Right.
Ripping.
Right.
But
The wind was brutal.
to turn your putt around that well within a couple rounds is insane. And he did switch his putt.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I
did
think we
switch
got
his
that.
putt.
I think we got that video, so we're gonna throw
We do,
that
we
up
do.
here.
Let's show that.
You can take a look.
The top is back at
Mhm.
Worlds when he played against Paul.
Yep.
And
so let's
then
look at the
the
top
bottom is
right
now.
here. So take a look at the top. A nice low sweeping putt drops it
With
from
a
his
straight
knee.
arm.
Straight
Very
arm,
jabby. Very jabby and with
just
a
kinda
lot of speed.
Spins it. A lot of speed. And so now below
Below.
the lower video is his current
Yeah.
putt.
Yeah.
So very spinny, very
It's
floaty.
very different.
One thing that I really like about his current putt is that it relies on a ton of athleticism. He's focusing on, hey, I'm an athlete. I can repeat this motion. Like, statistically, maybe that's not the most, like, it's not the easiest putt to go in. But what he can say is when he walks up to that putt is like, I get to spin it. I know that I'm controllable. I can use this athleticism I have to control this putt. And he's focusing more on just that pop, that release, and letting the disc glide into the basket. And the thing
Yeah,
is,
his wrist
he
is
missed
so
some
far
putts.
forward now,
mm-hmm.
and it's like a
It's just
nose up
weird.
spin putt. That is the polar opposite of his.
Matty-O.
That's the polar opposite of his nose down
Right.
straight arm putt that he
Right.
struggled with for years. I mean, did you know
Yeah.
last year at the Shelly Sharp Memorial, he actually did this putt last year at the beginning of
Really?
the year, and he quit because he putted so bad that he actually switched back to his normal putt all year. And
Okay.
it looks like now he officially practiced it so much in the off season that
Good.
he created a new putt, which is extremely impressive. Not very many people
Yep.
can switch their putts
That fast.
and perform like that.
It's incredible. I hope it's
only-
not just a fluke. Like, I really hope it's not. It'd be sweet
Yeah,
to see him
he put
be
it
at the top.
Amazing.
Amazing.
He putted
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, I am gonna throw up here one video of one of his better putts in the round. This is a 55-foot look, and he just spins it in. He just
Oh
floats
my
it
gosh.
in. And the thing is, like, it's not even like he's not putting any effort. It's not this huge jab. It's just this little float at the basket. And like his putt doesn't stick here. Nose down hits that and kicks straight out right.
He's not
Right.
getting that up Anheuser with a straight arm putt. He can out putt Anheuser
Yeah, no, you can't.
and get
You'll
around
just-
trees,
you'll
or
just
he's
die.
probably better at putting in the wind too because it's a nose up spin putt. The
Yeah.
only other person I know that did that was Kale LaVisca.
Mm-hmm.
He also
Mhm.
was a push putter, and he
Yep.
switched the past couple of years to a more spin putter,
And it looks
which
good.
it does look good, which is very impressive.
Yeah. If you
The
go
only
watch
person that
both
changes
rows-
their putt that much is Yuli.
Yeah, true. And he's
No
a
one's
good
changed
putter
their
too.
Yuli.
a
He's
good putter
actually the
too.
best putter right now. But
Yeah. But it's impressive. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. But
yes,
speaking of form switches, we got one other one that I know of. Obviously, there's probably a bunch of people that are working on their form, but we're gonna throw.
I
up
sure hope
Eagle
so.
McMahon's form, which he's working on a forehand now, and I know he's highlighted it a couple times on his social media, but we're gonna throw that up.
so if we can notice at the bottom, look how close he brings that elbow to his body, and he doesn't
Mhm.
explode out of the pocket. It's more like a consistent swing. Then at the top is the most recent video. He keeps his elbow farther from his body and actually explodes out of the forehand pocket, which is, it seems like his
Yes.
shoulder is healing very nicely. If he can put this much spin on the
Mhm.
forehand now, he
Right.
is going to be dangerous this year.
I
If
mean,
he has the infamous 500-foot Eagle McMahon sidearm back, because he
yeah.
is actually a sidearm dominant player, believe it or not.
Right. He used to be. I mean, before he injured himself, I mean, he was throwing so far. It was uncontested. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, looking at that bottom one, he's got the up over his shoulder, kind of in this flat, like just kind of floaty line, and he releases it the same way. He just kind of flicks it off his hip. And
Yeah.
that top one, he's actually getting his shoulder down by the disc and committing through on a pulling line. He's pulling that disc through rather than just kind of flicking it.
Yeah. It's like he's actually
So,
creating the lag that he used to have.
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
if it, there's like 500,000 videos on the Eagle forehand tip video, which I
Yeah.
watched recently.
Yep.
And his arm, like his bicep and his forearm literally touch each other as he's coming
Yeah.
through. So he's getting that
Yeah,
lag
and
back
he's
that gives him
so
that
far
distance.
back.
Yeah.
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 It's incredible. So really
It's-
excited
it's-
to see what he can
Me
do.
too. It's
But-
I'm very excited to see Eagle throw some sidearms again, because I'm sure we've all missed it. We've all
Mhm.
missed
Yep.
pre-injury
Really good to see him back.
Eagle. One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
But yeah, I mean, Ezra Robinson still no sidearm. Poling still throwing.
Still
high
all
spin
sidearm.
rate. Yep. Who else did we watch? Braden Sides looking good down there. I mean, we don't
He
see a
isn't.
lot of change, but
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see more, because how
Mm-hmm.
come? I mean, Ezra got a new sponsor, Discraft,
Yep.
but how does he not work on a sidearm at all? Like, your back end's so good. How do
it's
you
so
not
good.
just start working on your sidearm just for fun, just to get better? Like, what's up with that?
From-
What do you
yeah.
think is up with that?
From someone who throws predominantly backhand, my biggest thing with sidearm is I don't want to take away from the confidence that I have with my backhand. So I walk up to a hole and I say, you know what, hey, look, this looks like a forehand. The good thing is I know my backhand's going to be just fine here. And I think that's like looking at the shots that he throws. He's like, you know what, I don't want to have that option in my mind of going to a forehand. I don't want to say like, hey, this is potential. I could throw a forehand here. I'd rather just, sling a backhand. So
Yeah,
that's part of it.
I've actually heard them. I've heard them say that before. Is that
Mhm.
their forehand actually takes away from their sidearm? But
Yep.
I'm sure you can practice both. Like, when you're in the woods scrambling, like,
True.
you want
It's tough.
that
Yep.
sidearm. You can't backhand all your scramble shots.
Right.
It's like, only if you work on your sidearm for that reason, you should.
Right. And that's why I would say I have a consistent sidearm. Like I threw a sidearm like 400 feet last year. I couldn't
Once.
throw the rest of the round. Yeah, once. So like I've got a forehand. It's very touchy and very accurate
It
short
is.
range. And so that's all I need it for. Because I'll throw a Firebird on scrambles, I'll throw a zone for the straight shot, and those are the only two discs I forehand all year long. So yeah, it's just backhand. And so I am curious though too. Like I don't know if you're at that level and you're playing disc golf full time, why not develop a sidearm? So
I know. Like, if you're 10-10 rated or 10-20 rated and you only have one thing, like, you're not going to get to 10-30 unless you work on the other side of your game.
right.
Like Presnell, he doesn't have a sidearm.
Yeah.
Like, or the sidearm players like Chandler Kramer that doesn't have a backhand. Like, do not
Jake
put some.
Wolf, dude.
Or Jake Wolf,
Like,
I think, is an anomaly with
truly-
everything. I think he's an anomaly with
Truly no
everything.
backhand.
Yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
he's cool.
Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah,
He's so-
I mean,
that just
talk about a
fascinating to watch.
specialist. Talk
Yeah.
about a specialist.
Knows exactly what he's doing. But I mean, that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing about that. I think he's held back by his putting mainly. But man, it's hard for me to see how he could get to the top of the game, not having like a huge part of the game, which is a backhand, right? Like
Yeah, because there's
overhand
one
can
side of the
only
game.
move left so much.
Yeah, there's one side of the game where, like, stick with what you're good at, work on that till you work on that, because there's always something to improve on. And then there's the other side where, like, you should probably change your form so you can increase that ceiling and increase what you can get better on.
Yeah.
Not just focusing on these couple things, which is great for some people.
Mhm.
Someone like Sam Smeagol in Michigan,
Right.
he's had the same form forever,
hmm
but he keeps increasing rating and he keeps
Mhm.
getting better,
It works for him.
and
Matty
it works
O.
for him.
Like Matteo is the perfect example of this. Like his form doesn't make sense. I mean, he pulls it over his shoulder.
But he's got a
throws air
backhand
bounces.
and he's got a sidearm
Yep.
and he can
And
circle
he
one and
won
circle two
MVP.
putt.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep.
he's like 1035 rated. So he's
Right.
out of the question. I'm talking about these like 1010, 1020
Yeah, that's
guys
fair.
that need to get that 1030
Right.
and that just don't. It's because
yeah.
they're working with what they got, and that what they got just isn't good enough for most courses.
Right.
And I just want to see more people just I want to see change in the offseason. I really do. I want to see people get better. That's what I want.
Well, we have a great example, or we have a great opportunity to see a lot of the work people put in with the Memorial tournament this weekend. Shelly Sharp, right?
Shelly Sharp, yeah.
Yep. So we got players like AB down there. Ricky's going to be down there. Parker Welk. Connor Rock is going to be down there. Anyone else I'm missing?
Drew Gibson.
Drew Gibson will be down there. Just your Arizona, Southwest United States guys. So that'll be fun to watch. I think that'll be over on Disc Golf Guy on his stuff. So that's gonna be really an interesting tournament to see. AB coming out of the off season. Ricky with a new bag. Yeah, let's touch on that quick. What are your thoughts? Ricky, new bag, Discraft. How do they have money? Yeah, let's hear it.
I absolutely love every little bit of this. I can't wait for a Ricky Paul Luna to come out. All Ricky can talk about is the Luna. He's like, dude, it's got so much glide. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, all of us who've been throwing a Luna for the last 20 years or however long it's been out. It's like 7, I think now. But
and his YouTube video, he's got an Onyx on his chest. Like, dude, these Paul,
he's gonna shred with the Onyx, dude.
Oh yeah, because he's like a flat hat Anheuser player, so those like mid stability discs he's gonna love.
He's gonna love.
I really love his new logo. I really love the stamp they just put on a Raptor. I mean, the Raptor and Ricky just go together.
100% agree. Have you seen though that the new stamp? Have you seen his logo? Looks like someone sitting on a urinal.
No.
Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Okay, I don't have that, so I can't pull that up. But there's someone who like outlined it in Disc Golf Discussion on Facebook, which is one of the wildest Facebook pages for sure.
Yeah.
It's oddly
accurate.
So
wow. I'll have to
maybe look that up carefully.
It's probably something once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
And they might make a meme disc out of it if it becomes big enough and more well known.
I sure hope so. I would buy one because it's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But
yeah, I mean, seeing Ricky throw Discraft is just exciting. I'm excited what Discraft is going to be able to drop for him, and like that new putter seems interesting.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
A deeper dish putter
Magnet type disc.
Yeah, that Discraft doesn't have. I mean, I think the marketing behind him is going to be so good because it is Discraft. And what will he take away from some of the other players on the team? What do you think, Frank? Do you think he'll take some of the disc sales from other team members because it is Ricky?
It's Ricky, right? That's one of my biggest things with Discraft is I think they've gotten to the point where they have so many players that these mid-level top pros are going to really struggle with disc sales. Chris Dickerson, it's a guy like he was at the top of the game in 2021, 2022, even 2023. Yeah, and just kind of
he just won a tour championship like in 2021. 2020, 2019, something like that.
But the dude shreds. Like, he's a great player. But the thing is, I mean, it's a Tour Series buzz. Like, everyone's got a buzz. So does that now take away from that? And like, Ricky's obviously gonna have a zone. Like, he's gonna have he'll have some sort of Tour Series zone. And now Ezra Haderold, he is the Raptor, right?
Goose has the Raptor.
So does Ricky's Raptor sales take away from Goose's Raptor sales? And so that's what's tough for me is like I look at these top pros and I'm like, oh, does bringing Ricky on snub them of commission opportunities or like growing their brand? Does it force them to become more influencer based rather than just skill based? I don't know.
But also, does the audience Ricky brings just bring Discraft up as a whole, and does everyone just sell more discs?
It's possible.
You know,
I think it's 100% possible because Ricky plays a different style of game than everyone else on, honestly, the Pro Tour. Like
he does.
the way his level of aggression and just intensity that he brings to the sport really could bring a big audience to Discraft that might not have been there before. Because I know everyone was shunning Discraft when they took Paul. It was like, oh, they're just spending money. Like we don't need to like Discraft. It's just overload Discraft. Like there's a lot of people out there who are Discraft haters. It's like Innova versus Discraft. I'm always choosing Innova. Well, now that Ricky's there, it might be a toss up, right? It might be like, well, okay, if Rick's there, I love Rick, big Rick fan myself. Like, do I now start trying a couple of his lines? Like, I don't throw a ton of Discraft, but like I love straight to overstable stuff. Like, and Rick throws those really well. So maybe I start trying it.
Because they're bringing back the Z Swirl this year for their Tour Series out of popular demand. Okay. Yeah. What do you think his Tour Series disc is going to be? Do you think it's going to be the Raptor? Do you think it's going to be a Zone? Do you think it's going to be maybe a Force? What do you think? Because Corey Ellis had the Force, but he's gone. But also, Goose has the Raptor, and like, what would Goose get? What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I look at the Raptor, great disc. I think it would be hard not to give Ricky the Raptor. Just like Raptor legs, like come on. So I have a feeling that is going to be his front running disc. I do think they are going to release a mid-range of sorts for Ricky because I don't think that's just a guesstimation. Like that's just my guess. I don't think Discraft has a good overstable mid-range. The Hornet is solid, but it doesn't have a lot of distance. Nebula's solid, but it's kind of domey. And the Buzz OS just is straight. Like my Buzz OSs are straight, or like
they're
rocks, they're bricks.
They beat up really straight. They start out quick, really stable.
Yep.
And then they're just not a Buzz OS anymore.
Right.
Like suddenly they're just not a Buzz OS.
Buzz SS. Like it literally is flippy. So I wouldn't be surprised if Discraft put in the work this year to make a mid-range that fits that overstable mold that Ricky can forehand. Because the Zone works, but I think he's looking for the next step up. I think he'll be looking for a 5 or 6 speed. I think that's possible. I'm really excited to see.
It's a bit stable though. It's a bit stable.
It's like a Zone OS. It's what the Zone
OS
also is supposed to be.
Do you think all he needs is zones? I mean, all he did was forehand harps and slammers, and that was it.
True.
He doesn't really throw mids.
It might be Zone OS. But part of me wonders because Goose throws the Buzz OS a lot. If Goose then takes an overstable mid range and then Ricky goes to Raptor.
Yeah. When do you think
the Force has to be picked up? So
they're gonna have so many players that they're gonna have to start running like maybe they run 2 Raptors, 1 Goose Raptor, and 1 Ricky Raptor. I think I thought of this idea earlier. Maybe they should do 2 Lunas, a Ricky Luna, and a Paul Luna, and they see who sells more.
A little competition, dude. That kind of competition, like Team Ricky, Team Paul, would just drive sales. Like, dude. No one's really done that, but I really think that could blow up a market of like pick your team. And the thing is, if you pick your team, yes, it drives down sales from the other side, but what it also does is it drives up sales more on your side, and you get so much publicity from it. So much publicity. So
yeah, maybe they both make a new mold, and then who sells more, or make a limited edition Paul stamp, limited edition Ricky stamp, and see who sells more. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be sick.
The Paul Ricky collabs are endless. I'm here for it.
It's gonna be sick.
I'm here for it.
Rivals become teammates.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. But
yeah,
what I'm not loving is Nick's hot take of the day. So we're gonna bounce over to hot takes. Get ready for a good one. Nick, what you got for us?
You may or may not agree with me, but I think putting is 90% mechanics.
So I haven't heard this.
And 10% mental.
I am good. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I think that is garbage. And I'm not just saying that because I have to. That's a wild hot take. And Okay. Let's look at basketball players. Let's transition to basketball. All of them have great form, and yet some of them don't make it. It's got to be because it's mental. So like,
Frank,
let's come back.
Frank,
Come,
we're
dude,
not
let's come back
talking
to-
about basketball.
I know. Okay.
We're
So
talking about putting. Give me
putting is such
putting
a simple
analogies
thing.
only, Frank.
Okay, putting analogies only. Let's go. Can I go to golf?
No,
Is that a
I don't
fair
know
tr-
anything about golf.
Okay, well, it's the same.
You know
If
how to
you
speak
were-
in disc golf terms, Frank. Speak.
I'm struggling right now because that is just a garbage take. If I'm walking up to a 12-foot putt, statistically, I am like 99.6% likely to make that putt.
Because of your
miss that in
mechanics.
practice.
Because
I
of
don't
your
miss that in
mechanics are sound.
practice.
Because your
I never
mechanics are
miss that
sound.
in practice. I
Mhm.
never miss. I could putt 1,000 times and would miss maybe one, and it'd be a dead center spit out from that in practice because I'm not thinking about it. The moment you step onto the course, it's completely different. The moment that putt matters and has value behind it, completely different. It's a completely different mental headspace. That's why there are some players who are so good in practice rounds and are just absolutely trash in tournaments because they can't like lock in. It's mental. It's 100% mental. You can have
I
the
think-
best mechanics in the world, and if your mental is off, you will never make a putt. And vice versa, if you have the worst mechanics in the world and the best mindset, you will make putts.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's
That
not
is true.
true. That's
That
not
is true. Look at Matty O. He literally just like spins the disc, but he knows it's going in, so it doesn't even matter. That you can't tell me that right there is good mechanics.
That's called a spin putt,
garbage
sir.
mechanics.
It's called a
It's
spin putt.
garbage mechanics.
He's the-
But his mental state is just he's locked. He's locked.
You don't know that, but
Yeah.
I think mechanics are more important than we give them credit for because I think people's putt falls apart because yes, they're mental, but it's because their mechanics aren't sound under pressure.
That's mental, dude. That's you literally just said pressure.
Mm-mm.
No pressure, they go in. Your
You have
mechanics
to
are
make
fine.
no. You put in work
That's garbage.
in your off season
Terrible take.
on your off days
Terrible. Dude, you have
and
a
make
thir-
your mechanics resistant to pressure. So when you're
you
under
have
pressure,
a 30-foot putt for $250,000. You're missing that putt 9 times out of 10. You're missing that putt 9 times out of 10. You can't even tell me that I'm wrong here. You're missing that putt 9 times out of 10.
if you have trash mechanics, but you have a good mental game, you're not going to make more putts than a guy that has good mechanics and a bad mental game.
Okay, go over and watch any of the Go Throw skins. All of those pros, I mean, they have guys out there missing 15-foot putts.
It's because it was so
there's money
windy.
on the line.
It
No,
was
it's because there's
windy.
money on the line
It was so
every
windy.
single putt. That's garbage. That's the worst take you had yet. We've only had
No,
two. That's terrible.
I think mechanics are way more important than you
No.
think. I've gone through so many different iterations of putts, and I think actually getting the mechanics that are correct for your body type, correct, yeah, for your shoulder and arm
wrong.
and timing, I think it's more important than your
garbage.
mental game. I really do.
I
If
can't
you're
wait
if you're
for you to
timing,
clip this,
if you're
put it on Instagram, and get absolutely roasted in the comments. I can't.
no,
wait.
I
I'm going to do it.
Yuli actually has the same take.
Yuli's.
He thinks mechanics are more important than mental. It's because he's
That's just
gone
not
through
true.
it. He's gone
That's just
through it
not
and he
true.
found the mechanics that worked for him, and now his mental game improved with it.
Yeah, and if his mental game wasn't there,
Because his mechanics were so sound, though,
All right,
that
tell me
brings your
this.
mental side up as well.
If you had a terrible mental game, just like absolutely awful, and you were afraid of every putt, do you think you would
But-
make putts? Do you think you'd make putts just straight there?
You don't start like that.
You
If
would
your
never make a
mechanics are
putt.
sound, dude, you're just making more putts, and your mental game's not going
Guess
to be as
whose
bad.
mechanics are sound. This
You
guy.
don't know that.
I know.
I wish
I've-
I wish we had like some sort of putting coach that actually told us what the right kind of putt was. You know,
It would be mental. They call it the yips, not because you
it's because
with
people who
putts,
have
it's because
yips
your
have
mental
terrible
sucks.
mechanics. They have
they have
terrible
terrible
putts.
mental games.
They have terrible
ter-
putts.
That's just
They have
a
terrible
garbage
mental
take.
game, and their mechanics are terrible, and that makes you
Terrible.
have the yips. Are you
Terrible
kidding
take.
me?
I can't argue with this. I can't argue with you about this any further because that's just awful.
I think
But-
mechanics are more important than putting.
Leave your
Mental game.
opinions in the comments. Tell
Love
Nick
to hear
he's
it.
wrong.
Bring it on.
And yeah,
I'll defend this
we need that.
till I die.
That's just a crazy.
I've worked
just
on my putt so
crazy.
much, dude. I
Yep,
would know.
That's crazy. But that's it from us. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end a little longer today, but
Heck
we're glad
yeah.
to have you.
Just
So,
keep rambling, dude. 45 minutes.
yeah, doing our best.
Solid episode.
Yeah, season's coming up quick, and we're gonna keep releasing episodes. We got some cool guests. We got Tim Barham coming up. We've got who else?
Nick
we got?
Gill,
Nick Gill coming up. There's
Kevin.
rumors that
potentially.
Kevin Fodry will be on. Might be a possibility we get Scott Stokely on somewhere in the future too. So
Whoa.
stay on board.
Whoa.
We're glad to have you guys. But that's all from us.
Thank you.
Peace.